The way Toom Studio handles palettes is very unique in that you can create more than one type of style for your scenes. As you see here, I have a scene called Landscape 3, and I have a couple of different styles here. So if we look at the properties and I choose the color palette, I can look at the styles that I have here. I have one called Landscape, and I also have one in here for default, which is, what's in here when you start Toom Studio. I also have in my Landscape, under my styles, the color style which I created, and I also have gray. Now with the color style, here are the colors that I created here for this palette. I click the plus sign and I simply double click on each swatch and I can change the color, and then I can of course use the paint bucket tool to fill in the assigned area with whatever that color is. If I want to rename this color, I double click on the name. I can call that grass medium, for example, so I can have a combination of a light or a dark color. And then I can just grab my paint bucket tool and fill it in if I so desire. Now, in my style, I'm able to go to the gray one that I created as well. And this is the same palette that I modified so the colors are all grayscale. And this is handy so that, let's say I'm doing an anniversary of my company and I want to show a gray or platinum style for the logo. I can choose this and have this as my opening for an animated piece. And then when I want to go back to the normal, I can go back to color. To create these palettes and the name and the style, all you have to do is go to this little pop-up menu here, or a contextual menu, and click and choose to create a new palette. You can also duplicate the palette that's currently here. You can rename the palette, delete it, export it, and import a palette that you may have created earlier, or have someone else create a palette for you. Very cool. So you can send these palettes around. Now another cool thing you can do is work with the style. And as you see here, I can duplicate the style, rename the style, or delete the style. Just to reiterate, this is the name of the palette, and this is the style. So I have landscape, and I have the style. I can have gray, or color, or I can make one called purple or green and just change all the colors around. Once again, to change these, just go to your contextual menu, choose to create a new palette, or duplicate the style that you have there. And you can also choose to add colors, edit colors from this menu here, as well as using the plus sign and the minus sign. And when you want to modify the color, just double click on the swatch, change it around. And then once you're done with that, you can go ahead and add it to whatever part of your scene or your artwork that you wish to color with that style. It's very handy, and it's a great way to quickly go from one style to another without having to create an entire new scene. You can just, as quick as you can with the menu, go from one to another. It's very cool.